In my boxing career, I wanted to be the heavyweight champ of the world. My mama told me that when I was a baby, Joe Louis had just started boxing, and they called him the Brown Bomber. And I nicknamed myself that as a child. I couldn't even talk, but I said that from watching the reels on the screen. And so that was already a part of me, knowing that my dad had been a boxer too. So all of my 5 brothers, 4 of us boxed. We was all Army champions or Golden Glove champions. 2 of us fought a couple of pro fights, including me. I had one, and I won it. But my coach said I didn't have the hands to be the heavyweight champion of the world like Joe Louis. So he said, why don't you have me train the fighters? I said, no, I'm not ready for that yet. But a couple of years later, my youngest brother, Alfonso, was training. He said, come on, help Alfonso. So I started helping he and Alfonso. Alfonso won the Youngstown Golden Gloves, like I did. He went to Cleveland and won in Cleveland also. And Alfonso was all-state in football. Matter of fact, Paul Warfield broke his 100-yard dash record in Harding High School, so I watched the event when he ran. Paul was 2 years behind my younger brother. But Alfonso, the record was, I think was 9-8 held by Abe Williams, one of our good friends from the east side of town. He had the Ohio record for the 100-yard dash, and Boo Boo broke it about 12 or 13 years later, 9-7. But 2 years after Alfonso Boo broke his record, Paul Warfield and a fellow by the name of Marvin Howard, okay, we call him Crumb Crusher, he was one of my Golden Glove boxers. It was a photo finish, but they gave the win to Paul. So both of them at the same time. But so I watched Paul and all the young fellas grow. And in my adult life, in terms of the boxing, I won the Youngstown Golden Gloves in 1954. And at my last fight, I fought an exhibition next to my last fight. I fought an exhibition in Niles, Ohio for Boom Boom Bansinger's daddy. Boom Boom Bansinger's daddy was called Boom Boom, and he was the #1 ranking lightweight in the world, but he got drafted in World War II. And so he would have been, just a matter of time, been the world champion. But because of the war, he lost some time. So when he come back, he wasn't the fighter he was. So he never got a chance to fight for the championship. But we fought an exhibition for him, myself and a young man named Charles McQuarrie, who had won the 147 national champion in the open division. And I fought him in the exhibition for 5 rounds. In the first 3 rounds, and now I'm weighing about 154, 56. Charles ain't weigh but 147, 148. I knew no guy smaller than me could beat me. But it was a 5 rounder now. We didn't go but 3 rounds normally. So the first 2 rounds, I hadn't trained for about 3 months. He kept on fighting. So I got tired. And the first 2 rounds, without a question, I was leading in the scorekeepers. That's what the card said. 3rd round, probably even. The 4 rounds, I couldn't let him walk. 5th round, he knocked me down at the end of the fight, but I didn't get knocked out. So then I fought 1 more fight after that. I went to New York. There was 2 gentlemen, one out of Cincinnati and one from Buffalo. I fought in Buffalo as a professional fight. They wanted to interview me. They had intention of turning pro. So when I came back, and I fought, as a matter of fact, I was scheduled to fight, but a young fellow who was supposed to fight did not show. I fought under his name and I won the fight. But I came back and I talked to my coach, and he was very honorable. I tried to be a whole lot of things, but my probably most important person in my life next to my dad might have been Coach Johnson. From the 7th grade at his junior through my high school times and with the boxing. And he was a white man. Matter of fact, he used to say he was what they call a Scandinavian. He was a 1st generation American. His parents was from Finland. As a matter of fact, he was about 6'4" and weighed about 320 pounds. But he would dance jitterbug like a brother. You don't know why some kind of bad guys can just dance. But he's an athlete. He played football and he was on the track team at Ohio U. And in 1936, he just missed the 1936 Olympics that Jesse Owens was famous. As a matter of fact, he and Jesse Owens were friends. Jesse Owens has family here in Warren right now. That he would come over to Cleveland and visit them. and that's when he met Coach Johnson. And he and Coach Johnson was both nationally recognized athletes, and they became very, very best friends. So I knew a part of that history. So Coach Johnson grew up on the west side of Warren, but his people from Finland, okay? And their patron saint of Finland is Saint Maurice. If you Catholics would understand who Saint Maurice was. He was one of the major martyrs in preaching within the Catholic Church. So he was raised not to be prejudiced. And East Union